This letter was sent to us in regards to Colt Richardson. Colt, are you here? Hey, stand up, Colt. It says, hello, I'd like to give recognition to one of your firemen who helped me yesterday. I just arrived to Martin Nelson Indutronics when my car blew a hose, which quickly started sending smoke from underneath the hood. I and my daughter jumped out of the vehicle and feared that it would be something more. I was definitely in a panic and flustered when Colt Richardson walked up asking if I needed some help and could we pop the hood to see what was going on. I told him I was a little afraid to do so, so he told me to go grab his fire extinguisher and just grab the fire extinguisher just in case. We found it was a radiator hose and he offered to move my vehicle out of the way until my husband got there. Colt stayed with me and my daughter the whole way through and also helped my husband move the vehicle. I couldn't stop giving him praises. He was like an angel sent from heaven. Colt was at the business to do an inspection and I thank God he was there at that very moment. After all was taken care of, I told my husband I wanted to give Colt some recognition, but I didn't know how to go about it. My husband informed me that he had gotten Colt's name and your email, he sent this to Christina, so I could express how much I appreciate the help he gave me. Colt went out of his way to help me and my husband when that's not what he was there for in the first place. I can't thank him enough, and you should be proud to have Colt working for you. Good job, Colt.
We are.
Yay!
And commissioners, that's just one of the many, many things that our folks do. You know that, but since we got that, I wanted to bring that up. Speaking of good things, you've got in my packet, you've got some of the customer surveys. We did a push on our Facebook regarding our customer survey page that we have on our website. We've had that there for a while, but it was just to remind the community. So you have 3 of them that were sent to us just right after we did that to look at. We had a meeting, myself and Chief Bocanegra and Captain Saunders. We had a meeting with Hutto ISD CTE program the other day regarding the program they are doing up at the new high school for their fire protection program. You have a copy under my packet there of what that program is going to look like. What we found out is I believe they said, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're going to try to start their program fiscal year 27-28, so that's right around the corner. Caleb is going to continue meeting with them, and they're going to talk about how we all are going to work together. So that's something we've talked about a long time, and so now we finally start to see that it is coming.
Chief, do you know, Henry, you might know, I should know, but I don't. Are we going to have a similar setup at that school as we have at the high school with the simulated ambulance and emergency room and all of those
So
things?
what we are working with right now, and I've been working with the attorney's office, and we're trying to go through all the legalities on it, is our oldest fire apparatus, which we have now taken out of service. We are going to come to the commissioners with a proposal for that to go to that program. It will still remain our property, correct, Aaron? Yes. That's the way we're working it. Still remain our property, but we would have it up there for that program. Aaron is working with the attorneys for HISD. Once we get all that done, it will probably be September, because I believe the school district's attorney working on that is out to the end of August. Then we'll come back to you. That's originally why we had the meeting with the school district, to see if they were interested, and they were, so now that is the next step.
Okay.
My only comment, Mr. President, is before I retired, I took board members, superintendent, and district officials on tours of facilities in Dallas. One of them was a complete CTE high school for the Arlington ISD that supports all the high schools, but the students that are in CTE programs spend portions or all of their days at this one location. I don't remember the name of it. And we collected information pertaining to their EMS and their fire safety program, including some drawings and pictures, photographs that we shared through VLK of what was an equipped mock station inside the building, including uniforms, fire apparatus that were simulators. Those things were making its way into the schematic design discussions when I had retired. But I have a feeling that based on some of that feedback that those board members had at the time, that's the ideal of where they want to head with that program.
And I do know, because Eric has reviewed plans and we've seen those, that in that part of their building, they have a room set up for self-contained breathing apparatus. They have a room set up for protective clothing. So they've got it built. They're very interested. At this point, other than working on the stuff on the apparatus, that's in Caleb's court, and he's going to continue those discussions with them.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen, I think you even mentioned it a couple of months ago, the one at the current high school.
Oh, yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, when you walk
Simulation
in,
of everything.
yeah, you walk in and you've got a hospital emergency room,
Right.
you've got an ambulance. I believe Jonah's been up there and talked with those folks up there, which I do know too, that we've talked about them about doing a community-wide CPR event. And so Jonah is, correct, Jonah? Yes, sir. Jonah's working with the current high school and those folks to do that.
Awesome.
So,
Great partnership.
yeah. You all know, we've all heard all the disaster taking place once again in the central part of the state. What I'm passing to you is a photograph that was sent to us yesterday from Rick Zwazwa. Rick, who works in our fire marshal's office, is part of Texas Task Force 2. Rick started down on Del Rio when all the flooding started. And if you saw yesterday, a tornado hit San Antonio. This is Rick's group working at the location where that occurred. He said that one of the national news organizations was there and interviewing folks and taking pictures. And I believe now he's in Kerrville. So he's gone from Del Rio to San Antonio to Kerrville. And just this morning, we deployed another group going to Kerrville to assist with the flooding going on. So
Yeah, we need to lift up the Guadalupe Basin. Right now, there's a weather system that's at least a third of the state sitting over the Texas Hill Country, and that Guadalupe is going to be in some trouble again, so.
and it's more than just that. It's going to many rivers at
Yep.
this point, is what
Yep.
they were saying.
That whole flood basin.
Next
So
thing
do we know how long they will be there? I guess just TBD.
No, we don't know at this point in time. Next thing, what I'm passing to you, commissioners, is occasionally, and by that I mean when there's new national reports for comparisons that come out, we compare ourselves to national statistics to see how we're doing. We look at such things as number of personnel, number of apparatus, and number of facilities. The last report that came out from the National Fire Protection Association, which gathers data across the United States. Their last one is 2020. I believe they're in the process of doing another one that's current. But this is comparing Hutto Fire to national statistics. And you can see just where we are. This is a document that we put in our master plan. We put this same document when we start making revisions to standards of covers and those things. So that's why we keep this updated. But I just want to get that to you so you can see where we rank in these different things. Last thing I have, commissioners, is in your packet, you have a copy of 2 checks. You have a copy of 2 checks that were written to the city of Hutto. The first check was written on June 4th of 2025 to the city of Hutto for $480,116.14. The last check was written to the city of Hutto on 5/14/2026 to the city of Hutto for $750,000. Y'all are familiar with these checks. What I want to draw your attention to is the memo line in both checks. In both of those checks, the memo line simply reads sales tax. There are comments being made that in the checks from the ESD to the city of Hutto, that the memo line reads final payment, something like that, something other than sales tax. You know, there's a difference between misinformation and lies. Misinformation can be corrected. Misinformation is an error. It's a mistake. It's something that can be corrected. But a lie is something that's intent. It's intent to mislead, to be deceivious. It can be there for political reasons. I just want to make sure that the board is aware that when we cut those checks through our office here, and for the firefighters to be aware that the lies that are actually out there right now are just that, they're lies, because all the checks say is sales tax. And I'm open to any questions or comments from the board.
Thank you for that clarification, confirmation. Is it for yours?
That's all, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Assistant Chief report, Rob?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. You'll see my run report from June. The only particular item I'd like to point out is that for some reason in June, our call volume was down. Maybe that's a good thing, but what I typically see each month are calls around between 425 and 450 a month, but for some reason I can only contribute it to school being out and people just kind of taking naps during the day and less traffic. So anyway, that's my report for the calls in June.
Or being on vacation, being gone, I mean, yeah.
If this is out of line, Chief, I'm traveling to Bryan every day for an interim position that I'm working over and helping that school district, but I leave town about 5 a.m. and I'm not sure if we are paying close attention, not the fire department, but if we're aware, but about 5 to 5:15 from Jim Cage traveling eastbound to 1660 and then County Road 132, traffic is backing up exponentially at 5 in the morning. The only thing I can think of is Skybox is coming alive, and it's not only traffic making a right turn on County Road 132, but also approaching traffic from the west. I notified the ISD that 132 is becoming much more of a potential eyesore and a hazard because of traffic, which is strange at that time of the day. So I don't know if you guys are noticing that, but I can see the potential for some issues when school starts and that increased traffic at County Road 132 with people trying to cross there. So just want to make people aware of that, situational awareness. I know there's hopes and dreams of doing something at that intersection, but Skybox looks like it's coming online.
We will continue to keep an eye on it. As we've always projected, once that area starts increasing in population and activity, we're going to continue to see the traffic flows increase and our activity increase in that side of our district.
Hey, Rob, on the bottom of the report every month, you have automatic aid and you have mutual aid. I know in the last couple of months, as folks have talked about services and other things, those terms get thrown around. Can you clarify what is automatic aid and what is mutual aid?
Automatic aid, the difference between automatic and mutual. Automatic is predetermined. It's an agreed agreement between entities. For example, Hutto in Round Rock, Hutto in Travis County ESD 2 Pflugerville, Hutto in Taylor, and Hutto in Georgetown. And I think I mentioned Round Rock. So those are all predetermined. The fire chief has gotten together with their command staff and decided, okay, once we get priority 1 calls, for example, structure fires, instead of us having to evaluate what needs we're going to need in that area, it's predetermined. We get a tone here at Hutto Fire, and for example, out on the west side, Round Rock gets a tone at the exact same time. And they're already set up in their CAD to send, when they get those notices, predetermined resources. So for structure fires from Round Rock in our area on the west side, we would automatically get another engine, a battalion, and potentially a ladder. So that's predetermined. Mutual is something that we arrive on scene and decide we need more resources. So then we will get on the radio and call for resources, not specifically to a particular agency. We'll just ask for XYZ, and dispatch starts arranging it and getting it to us.
Okay. You just throw it out there, hey, we need help, and
For
whoever picks
mutual
up,
aid,
right,
yes.
whoever's
Yes.
available is, okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
you bet.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Commissioners, let me add to that. We have had automatic aid with Taylor since 2010. That was one of the first things we did. We saw the benefit to both the city of Taylor and to ESD 3. So we've been involved in the automatic aid arena for quite some time on that. The other thing on the mutual aid, automatic aid is that legal agreement where mutual aid, you can say, I don't have the resources and we're not coming to you.
Gotcha.
Chief, I'm curious, is this a topic for the LEPC in terms of not dictating, but rather evaluating, especially in our focus on the LEPC on hazmat response, when we talk about predetermined? I'm wondering if that's a topic that we ought to have at the LEPC with the county folks. And I don't know if that would be especially when it comes to dictating auto aid and automatic resources, identified resources.
I don't know, we would have to talk about that, because from an LEPC standpoint, I don't see them playing into the picture on that, because it would be the local jurisdiction that would be responding to whatever chemical spill that there might be.
Okay.
But it might be worth having at least a preliminary discussion and see if it fits in that arena.
Okay.
Do we take data on any time that mutual aid has been requested and denied, and record like what the rationale was behind the denial?
We don't typically deny, only in situations where we have a natural event happening and everyone is limited in resources. I don't recall the last time that we've done that. I suspect it would have been only associated when we are tasked in our area, as well as Round Rock and Pflugerville. We may just have to say, hey, we don't have anyone to send at this particular time, but 99% of the time, probably 100% of the time, we provide the resources that are requested.
And the last one I can remember was the ice storm that hit the entire state, and nobody was able to send resources to anybody because they were all just trying to deal with their own community.
Yeah.
I think that data also tells an important story, though. You know, that mutual aid, while you can opt out for various reasons, generally speaking, that's not been a behavior that we've exhibited. And then also, I know that there is like a clearinghouse that you use to, like, specific codes to code calls for data purposes. Is there anything related to like these two data points where there's like a unified coding system, where if you were like that one example during Uri where we were unable to provide mutual aid, like, do we all use the same, I'm thinking of PEEMS from School World, like the same response code, so that you can track historically what that looks like?
Coming from the way Williamson County codes the calls, it would be standard across Williamson County.
Okay.
So yes, there is a piece to that we could probably look at.
Okay. Just again, it may just be worth, you know, again, telling that story that mutual aid is, if you're unable to provide, you have the right to say, I can't because I don't have resources. But historically speaking, that's not been something we've exercised.
And historically, when we were a one-engine company, there are often times that we couldn't send anyone. Fortunately, now where we sit today, we have eventually have 4 engines and a ladder come September. So we do have the depth to provide that mutual aid more often than none.
And the depth and the intention, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And actually, too, just building on what Chief Bocanegra said, when we were a one-truck department, we could handle one call. We could not handle those back-to-back calls. And what'd you figure the other day?
So with the help of Caleb, I'd asked him the question, how many times in the last year, 2025, have we been called for service within a 5-minute time frame? So double tapped is what we typically refer to it as. Caleb came back with a number of 1,400 times that we ran a call, and then within 5 minutes later, we got another call, and then that time continues to overlap. But that occurrence happened 1,400 times in the year 2025.
Wow.
Wow.
So there are days, I think when we were first started talking about this, we were getting, I think last couple of days during that time, we had a number of calls right on top of each other, you know, from the numbers of 3 to 4, just right on top of each other. But again, going back to where we are today, we're able to handle that with eventually the 4 engines, a ladder, and a squad to respond to all of those calls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else for Rob? Thanks, Rob. Financial report, Andres?
Andreas is at the TCDRS conference. If you remember, a couple months ago, we had Tim here who gave a presentation on TCDRS, and so he's there today and tomorrow at the conference with some of the questions that you all had asked him. He's carrying those questions there.
Okay. All right. Fire marshal report, Eric?
Afternoon, Commissioners. There's not a whole lot of new information to report. We're staying fairly consistent where we have the last several months. Other than that, there's really not much more to report. Nice, short, and sweet. I'll be happy to entertain any questions you have, though.
I do have Mr. President, I have a technical question. When we get to fire codes, because it's the responsibility of the fire marshal's office in plan reviews, inspections, what role do we play in that, how that gets adopted? In other words, are we under, 2018? Are we under 2021, 2022?
Sure.
Does our jurisdiction, working with the city that has the authority, or the county entity that has the authority, how do those get adopted?
Sure. So currently, we're in the 2021. We are, as well as the city. And it's pretty much up to Chief and I decide it's time that we need to go ahead and progress to the next code. We come to you, we do a presentation, y'all bless it. And the city, fortunately for us, a couple years ago with the personnel that were there, we had a really good relationship with their planning and zoning. And the city actually wrote an ordinance that every time we adopt a new fire code, they adopt it as well.
Okay.
And the benefit on that, and one of the arguments we always had is if you have one business on one side of the road that's in the city and one on the other side and it's out of the city, if you have 2 different codes and you require these folks to do one thing and these folks to do another, we go to an emergency. We don't know which edition of the code it was built under. And those business owners talk too. Well, why do I have to do this and you don't have to do that? And so that was a long relationship that we developed over the years working with their planning and zoning folks. And I credit Eric and his staff for working with them to do that, to where we all have one code. As far as the county only does codes where there is not a code that's in place.
So the unincorporated
The unincorporated areas, yes.
Okay.
What about, do you talk to other departments, like neighboring departments, as to what their codes are? Like when it comes to, like going back to the mutual aid or automatic aid thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. The majority of the county right now is on the 2021 code. Some folks are still on the 15 or 18. There's a couple that are we're getting ready to move to the 2024. However, the 2027 is coming out shortly, so they're going to wait for that to happen. And then we all kind of talk amongst ourselves as fire marshals in the entire county. Well, what kind of amendments are you looking for? What are you doing? What are we doing? And we all work together like that. So we're fairly close. No matter what code version we're at, we're pretty close.
And then there is also an ISO requirement on how current we have to have the code.
It's every cycle, 5 years, but one cycle is, what, 3 or 4
Yeah.
years? And so if you waited 2 cycles, you would be out for ISO, and it would affect our ISO rating. So essentially, every time a new fire code comes out, we're gonna have to adopt it to help maintain our ISO
ISO.
rating.
Okay. All right.
Anything else?
Anything else for Eric? Thank you.
Thank you.
Training report.
Afternoon.
You
As y'all
have to
see,
do double duty today, aren't you?
yeah, exactly. As y'all can see in your pack, we had 591 hours of training for the month of June between our internal and external training. We are about to finally start our New Hire Academy Class 19. That'll be August 3rd, so in a couple more weeks, we're kind of preparing for that. So start those folks and get them done and on the truck.
How long does that take?
It's going to be an 8-week academy.
8 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 19, is that what you said?
Class 19, yes, sir.
And these are folks that are already TCFP commission and they already have their EMT. So what they're doing is they'll come in during that 8 weeks and they'll see how we operate and how the
Gotcha.
different things going on here.
And then they get placed wherever,
Yes, sir.
whatever station. Awesome.
I have a small question. I think I may have already asked this question. You may have already provided me with the response, and so if I have, forgive me. I seem to remember we had talked about seeking out specialized training for all the electric vehicles and the home charging systems and people getting backup batteries installed and all the solar panels. Is that something that currently is in the works, or you all have already started like researching what those options are?
So we recently sent Fire Marshal Woods to one of the EV classes. He brought back a lot of information from that, as well as resources and some contacts that are, that's their profession, is figuring out what all these EV problems when it comes to fires and all that. We also have the county, they put on host, I guess I should say, some EV classes. We got one coming up in August, I believe it is, that we're signing a few people up for, and a couple of us from the training division are gonna get signed up for it, so we can kind of get that information and bring it back and train our guys correctly on it, so.
And I would comment, Morgan, last month, there was a presentation or update on hazmat training, and most of our guys have got hazmat exposure. But we'll be the first department where, in addition to having the minimum requirement of an EMS tech, right? EMS, what's the?
Emergency medical tech.
Yeah. All of our firefighters will actually be at a certified level of a hazmat tech, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So we'll be the first in Williamson County?
I can only speak for us. I don't know how the other departments do it, but all of our personnel will be hazmat techs.
Yeah.
So that's like included, the batteries and all that is included in the
Yes.
hazmat training? Okay.
That was
There's-
something that was brought up last month that was pretty newsworthy, in my opinion, because even though they have hazmat training, they're all gonna have this hazmat tech. Is it a certification or
It's a state credential through
a
TCFP.
credential? A credential.
There's one particular vendor that seems to be making a lot of headway in town because it's a more affordable entry into backup batteries, and so I feel like we're gonna start seeing them a lot more prevalent, and that's why it's kind of a pressing thing on my heart, because I know if you guys were to encounter that, there's different things to take into account.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and that's not necessarily like well involved into the hazmat tech curriculum yet, with EV being still somewhat of a new thing. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but it's just more popular nowadays, I guess you could say, putting it on everything. So that's why we're kind of reaching out and sending people to these other classes to get the right information and bring it back for everybody else. So.
But we also see those type of battery situations on fires. I believe we had a fire a few weeks ago when, during the investigation, they determined it was probably the battery from the charging unit that started the fire. And I can think of a couple of them over the past that we've had like that. So we try to stay on top of the technology, but they just keep changing it faster and faster.
Lastly, I'd like to bring up, we actually, the past couple days, Donovan over there for our new personnel in the training division, he's been working with Hutto ISD PD. They came over again for the, I guess they call it door breaching, we call it forcible injury training. And so he had, I don't know, probably 15 or 20 members from ISD PD over the past couple days. They finished up this morning. So it's good to keep that collaboration with our other agencies. And that kind of just piggybacks off of when we do that yearly mass casualty drill over at the school.
Right.
We try to incorporate that force military piece into it, and then it's nice to bring them over and kind of dive a little deeper into it. So they
So we
finish that
carry
up as fast.
axes on the truck, we have door breachers, and you still require Knox boxes.
Yes, yeah, every building has a Knox box. And we were commenting this morning, while we were standing over there, that, it's interesting just to see the size of the ISD Police Department that has grown.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wow, look at all these people. And I want to compliment Caleb and his crew, and Lieutenant Jennings, who's been doing the stuff when it comes to the active shooter and everyone involved, just with the relationship that we built with the police department at the school district.
Yeah, it's a great partnership, and it's sad we live in a day and age that we need that kind of presence at all of our schools, but we do.
Right.
And plus the state kind of requires it too.
Yeah, it's a mandate. I'm in the district that I'm currently serving in, about half the so-called pistol requirement on every campus is SRO. The other is security officers. So we're blessed that it's licensed T-close peace officers that are in our schools.
For sure. Okay.
Before
Anything else?
Caleb sits down, let me mention one other thing, and you'll see a change on your agenda next month. Next month, it's going to read Training and Accreditation Report. Caleb is also our accreditation manager for our national accreditation we're working on. So I asked him to now start giving updates on that, so he will start doing that next month.
Awesome. Thanks, Caleb.
And Mayor Claire, that's
Appreciate you.
tied to our discussions when we're meeting with the local in terms of the boxes, the pay boxes, and how all that, is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's important to get this monthly update.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Caleb.
You're welcome.
Professional Firefighter Association report. I know Jason is not here, but I think he sent you a text.
He did, I have that. He's getting his daughter enrolled at Texas State. It says, Commissioners, the local would like to send their condolences to the family of Jack Holman that passed away last week. He was a member of ESD 6 in Weir. The local would also like to remind the board that we support Chief Kerwood, the ESD, and their efforts 100%. And just as a reminder, the local will be hosting their annual golf tournament in September. If anyone needs info, just reach out.
Okay.
The end of report.
Do we know the date of that golf tournament? By
I do
chance?
not.
Anybody? 14th? Okay. Day before my birthday, I think I should get a birthday present of playing in a golf tournament.
Giving it to yourself, Todd?
Sure,
They'll take
unless you
your
guys want to give it to me. You being other commissioners, feel free.
Yeah.
I'll set up a GoFundMe.
Pardon me.
All right, Explorers report. Nothing new. Okay, thank you. And Commissioner report. Henry, do you have anything you would like to report?
Yes, sir. I had the opportunity to meet with Chief Bocanegra and Chief Kerwood along with Keith to kind of continue the conversation of moving our facility conditions, a condition assessment, or what we call FCAs, moving forward. We agreed to sort of a timeline that was presented by Keith, Chief, and Chief Bocanegra are working along the lines of prioritizing and for the community and for our firefighters that are in the room. We've talked about this in the past. You have a master facility plan that supports the stakeholder inputted strategic plan, and we've been building new facilities. Now it's time to go back and really exercise, an analysis on existing facilities, because just like a mortgage to buy a new home, there's also the cost of owning the home and long-term capital improvement projects that may be required. Station 1, for example, we've kind of identified, first of all, the kitchen there doesn't have the modern fire suppression system. There are some finishes there. So in the coming weeks and months, Keith will work with his consultants to do an analysis. Chief Kerwood, Chief Bocanegra have identified priority projects, and the goal would be to come back to commissioners and do a report and eyeball what savings we have remaining from current projects so that we can, you know, come up with some capital improvement priorities that we may want to spend on some of our older facilities. So I commend the work that Keith has already laid out. It's very detailed. A question that I have publicly, and then I'll turn it over to Keith if he wouldn't mind kind of giving a perspective from his end, is to council. Currently, the methodology that I believe we use for procurement is CSP. And the question that I had before would be something that may come back as, and when I say CSP, that's competitive seal proposal. The state of Texas authorizes, I think, 5 or 7, I can't remember. Some of these projects might qualify for a different methodology. So number one, can we use JOC in ESDs, the job order contracting, which may make it easier to do some of these projects? And 2, does that require action from us as a future agenda item? So that's a question to council.
Thank you, Commissioner. There are multiple opportunities or options for the type of contracting that you can do. If you want to do job order contracts, we'd have to look at the type of project you want to do to see if it fits that mold. And then, of course, the board would want to take action to discuss and choose that option after a discussion of what the nuances to that process would involve and how that affects your financial approach to that particular project as well as overall.
Thank you. So, Mr. President and Chief, I'd like to request a future discussion, and Keith can come in and give an overview in that discussion of the different methodologies, how they work, and I suppose some sort of recommendation that we would have to consider in terms of adopting, so that gives them the leverage to be able to pick and choose which is appropriate. So, sure. Keith, if you want to share your feedback.
Sure. We had our meeting together. We've been meeting for quite some time talking about this. And our last meeting, we came up with a consensus of a direction we wanted to head with some information from Henry. He has a great wealth of experience with the school districts because they are a lot more involved because they have a lot more facilities and there's a lot larger facilities. We've researched some programs that actually address job order contracts, all kinds of things that you can get set up for the ESD. Pretty much decided that we would try to keep it a little bit more low-key than that because they get pretty complicated, almost require a staff member to keep them up to date and that sort of thing. So what I'm developing right now with y'all's approval is to start building a more of an Excel spreadsheet that outlines all the items on each of these facilities that need immediate attention. But what we also want to do is start outlining all the particular items that are in each station, like the HVAC units. We have a life expectancy for those, and what we want to be able to do is get all those current age and when they were installed and that sort of thing, and then we can forecast for you all, for your future budgets, okay, next year we maybe have 3 units that are scheduled to be replaced. They might last a couple more years, but you need to have that ready so you don't get hit with a big bombshell. Go, oh my God, we got to replace all the units on Station 1 in this budget year. So what we're going to be able to provide y'all is information and our best estimation through being in the industry for so long, to be able to tell you kind of the life of these facilities. And when we do our initial audit, and especially on Station 1, because we don't have near as much information on Station 1 as we do on 2, 3, and 4 and the headquarters, we'll need to go in there and actually have a physical walkthrough, check out everything that's in the building, check out all the records that the chief has, and try to supplement those as best we can so y'all know, okay, those HVAC units, they need to be replaced because they're not operating functionally. They're not economically functioning also because of their age and all the things that have changed on HVAC stuff. So our plan is to put together a spreadsheet that's going to outline all that stuff and then try to have a forecast in that spreadsheet of what we anticipate or what we think is going to happen in the next 10 years. That way, when you're doing your budget, you can say, okay, according to our reports and what we have, we need to go ahead and start setting aside X amount of dollars to help facilitate fixing those things. I know the school district does these things because they have no choice, because you can get upside down on these facilities very quickly, and if you're not prepared for it, it's going to be very challenging to fix things that you did not anticipate. There'll be those, but there are a lot of things that we can help you forecast your future budgeting for.
And the good thing, commissioners, when we look at facilities outside of Station 1, everything else is 2018 forward. So a lot of what I think we're going to do is going to initially just focus on Station 1 and getting it up to where it should be.
And the only other
And
comment.
part of that is I want to get all the information on 2, 3, and 4 in this building into one central database, because we have the as-built for all those stations, but I want to try to incorporate it in this particular spreadsheet type thing, so we have it there. So I know, I mean, you'll have your as-built, but we know there are certain items we need to highlight or potential in the future replacement and that sort of thing, and I like to get that set up for each of the stations in addition to Station 1. And we have all that information on everything but Station 1. We're going to have to do an on-the-ground thing for Station 1 to kind of get it up to where we need it to be. Sorry.
Oh, no, and the only other comment I would say is, as we mature as a department and we get larger and we have more facilities, down the road, sort of imagining a day in which we might be, quote, built out, and now we're in a maintenance phase, maintaining equipment, maintaining facilities, maintaining our standards of cover. Those will always be ongoing costs. There may come a day in which, right now, maintenance is somewhat outsourced, and I'm guessing that a lot of that will continue going forward, but a non-firefighting type person that is a asset or a member of the department that perhaps does routine preventative maintenance to help us stretch the equipment and maintain that equipment, as opposed to reacting to when we have a maintenance failure. That might be down the road something we have to consider as a commissioner's court in support of the overall approach to it. So this step towards an FCA is laying that groundwork, not necessarily justifying the personnel that might need to be hired, but it keeps us focused not only on growing and adding facilities, but maintaining what we own. So,
Well, and this is all great stuff that we have to be forward thinking to set everybody else in the future up for success, because you mentioned being eventually built out. We'll be dead by the time that happens.
Yeah, and
speak for yourself.
I'm much younger.
and one of the challenges we've had is records on Station 1, because that predates all of us except Rob. But when we were doing major additions at Station 1, when we added the fourth bay to it, when we did some other things, we had challenge finding records. And so doing this work, starting at Station 1, and Keith doing this detailed analysis, we'll have those records for the folks going forward.
Great. Anything else for Keith?
No.
Okay. Henry, anything else on your report?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Keith.
I have a commissioner-
Morgan?
Yes, thank you. I finally have something to share. This is in relationship to our potential build-out for the high school program. I saw last night that Dr. Holland had put out a request, Dr. Holland of Hutto ISD, they're seeking community members and different industry partners to serve on the early college high school advisory board, just to make sure that they take into account all the different industry elements. And I know that they also have pathways geared towards people looking into a career in fire safety or public safety in general. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to plug that. So if any of you are interested in serving on that board, there's an application that is on, I think I saw it on Facebook. Or if you know somebody that's in a different interesting field, you may share that with them if they have a passion for kind of supporting that pipeline of young people moving out into the job force. So
I think it'd be great if someone from ESD 3 could be on that, just especially given as we partner with, once the Fire Station 5 is built.
Yes.
And the relationship that we're gonna have with that second high school. Yeah, that'd be great.
I put an application in because my daughter is a graduate of the original iteration of the early college model, and so I put one in as kind of the parent perspective, but
Yeah, I think someone that's actually
yeah.
that works in the field would probably be great too.
So can you forward that application?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Morgan?
No, sir, that's it.
Mary Claire, you have anything to report?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Okay, my report, got a couple of things. One, I want to draw attention, if you haven't noticed, I think you have, Chief, I commend you, the Veterans Wall that has been set up here is wonderful. I think that's it's a beautiful thing in a way to acknowledge the veterans that we have within the department. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
No, I mean, in the fire service, the way we come up and do different stuff is we look at how other fire departments are doing it, and then you try to do it one better. So we put ours together. Those of you veterans, stand up. I know Eric. You the only one? Oh no, Jake. I knew. There they
just
are.
waiting.
Caleb, come out. So it was just trying to get their pictures. That was the toughest part, was getting their pictures to go up there. So, you know, and
Yeah.
this is our way of saying thank you to
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all for your service then and your service now. But yes, that's I'm glad that we can certainly appreciate y'all all the time on that with that wall. Other things for me, Mary Claire, thank you for filling in last month during the meeting when I was absent. I know it's your favorite thing to do.
So my favorite.
And then the last thing that I want to mention, I know everyone's aware there's been a lot of things on Facebook, continues to be a lot of things on Facebook from a lot of different channels, but just to always be open and transparent. And last month, Henry and I and Chief were asked to sit with the city, a couple of folks from the city, to listen to whatever they had to say. And I will tell you, going into the meeting, we had no clue what they wanted to talk about. So we met with them and we listened. And again, you see things on Facebook, and I would encourage you guys to be careful what you read and what you hear and listen to and what you absorb on Facebook. Facebook can be a lot of noise, and my encouragement is always to avoid the noise. But I think in terms of being what the ESD does, and we have a lot of partnerships, and anytime any of our partners ask us to sit and listen to something they have to say, then I think we owe it to do that. And that's what we did. That's for about 2 hours we listened, okay? What I want to also say is to all of you guys, all of the staff of ESD3, and I think I can speak for this whole board, we 100% have your back at all times, okay? Know that. We 100% have your back, okay? That's that, and then, again, encouragement to avoid the noise, okay? All right, that's all I have for my report. Moving on to consent agenda. If you need a second to look at that, if not, I
I'll
will
make a
entertain a motion.
motion to accept the consent agenda as provided.
Have a motion to accept the consent agenda
And I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Consent agenda passes. Move on to our regular agenda items. Item number 1, discuss, consider, take action on construction of fire headquarters complex.
Commissioners, the last remaining item, as you know, has been the drive out here, and we went through all the TxDOT stuff. We had a hiccup with the title company. I got a phone call from them yesterday, and we're moving forward. So hopefully for the August meeting, we'll be able to give a different report because we will have closed and be ready to continue the construction on that drive. So I'm very pleased where we're at now. It's just been a long process because we've been working with the state.
Yeah. This item is about to be able to come off of the agenda.
Absolutely it will.
Okay. All right, thank you. Item 2, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on board president's appointment of a budget committee. I would like to appoint Commissioner Gatesick and Commissioner Balderas, because he's not here and he can't say no, to
second.
the budget committee. Nah, he obviously, I asked him if he was okay with it and he said yes. So, so our budget committee will be those 2 commissioners, and that's not anything we have to vote on, right?
No,
I can
it's
just-
your appointment.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then I will reach out with Mary Claire and Stephen, and we'll set up time going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Mary Claire.
No worries.
Item 3, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on fire chief's evaluation. We're going to discuss that in executive session. Item 4, discuss, consider, take appropriate action, briefing statement number 2603 regarding the purchase of a forklift for use in the headquarters warehouse. Rob?
Thank you. As you know, our warehouse is up and running. We continue to add things to it. What we have found and encountered are oftentimes that we need a lifting mechanism to get to our second-story mezzanine, where we built consciously to have more storage. The only access now is through the stairs, and sometimes we have pallets that we need to get up to the second level to store. For example, our hazmat equipment that we use to teach the hazmat class. The stuff sits on pallets, and we have a perfect location for it to be stored while it's not in use, and that's on that second level mezzanine. Some of that stuff is heavy, and it's easier for us to purchase a forklift, or it'd be advantageous for us to do that. We have 2 access points that we have to the second mezzanine, doors that will, or gates that will open up and allow us to lift from the ground level, set on that second mezzanine, and store while they're not in use. So this briefing statement is requesting that you authorize us to go out and purchase a used forklift. I've narrowed it down to some forklifts. I still need to do due diligence and make sure that we're getting a quality product if we are, if we're moving forward on it. So, in short, that's the request.
Who gets to do all the heavy lifting right now without a forklift? Is that
Not
like
me.
a rookie? Is that a rookie thing, or
Yeah, it's whoever's standing around.
or do y'all make Andres do it?
Hey, he has been a big
He's
help.
too fragile.
He's got those arms.
He does have the arms.
We fall under OSHA, right?
Not in Texas.
Yeah, Texas isn't, but one of the things that we will do, and Rob has checked and Caleb has checked, is there will be a forklift operator class. And talking about partners, TSTC has a forklift operator class. So
Okay.
that's one of the things we would have folks go through.
It just came up recently in another gig that I'm working in, and that is, anything involving lifts, hydraulics, and so on and so forth, you're gonna want training on that. And then as far as a used product, you wanna make sure that comes with some certification that would pass, the inspection, just an FYI. I don't wanna get into the weeds, but from a safety perspective and a liability perspective, just making you aware.
I make a motion to authorize staff to purchase a used forklift at a total sales price not to exceed $20,000.
I'll second.
Have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Lucky for whoever's been doing the lifting. Now they get to learn how to use a forklift.
Do you have pallet jacks, by the way?
We do.
Because once you get it out there, then you gotta move, okay.
We'll use a forklift to put the pallet jack up there.
There you go.
All right, item 5, discuss and consider adoption of the tax and budget planning calendar for fiscal year 26-27, authorize payment of tax process publications, and take any related action.
So Commissioners, you have a copy of the tax calendar. Today on the tax calendar would be where you propose the tax rate And then August 27th is where you would adopt a tax rate. Also on that date is the same date that you would adopt the budget,
Okay,
which you will need to adopt the calendar.
In adopting the calendar, you're saying we're also adopting the tax rate?
No, you're
It's
not
two
adopting.
adopting-
You're not adopting, today is not adopting a tax rate. All you're doing is proposing a tax rate.
but that's on the next item.
Oh, my
Item
bad.
5 is we're adopting the calendar and then authorizing payment of to process or to pay for the publications to publish the
Yeah,
calendar.
as soon as,
correct?
what Mary Ann will have to do after you adopt the calendar is we have to send it to the tax office and then they start to push it out and.
And adopting the calendar meaning August 27th, right?
August 27th is the date that you will set your tax rate.
Okay.
And you will adopt the budget. These two dates on here, July 16th and 17th, July 16th, which is today, is for the calendar is when you propose it.
Gotcha.
And then the 27th is when you would adopt it. But this document in front of you is with the tax calendar.
All right, so Mr. President, I'll move to approve or adopt the tax and budget calendar, planning calendar, for fiscal year 26-27, and authorize payment of tax process publications and take any related action.
Okay. We have a motion?
I'll second. but
second.
I have questions. Sorry.
Okay. Morgan beat you to the second.
No, it's Mary Claire.
Nope, that's right. Go ahead.
Y'all tied. Any further discussion, Morgan?
One question I have is, I know, for the preferred newspaper publication, we indicated Taylor and Georgetown. I mean, obviously, the bulk of our taxing entity is in Hutto. I wonder if there are any other options, like community impact could be one.
No,
It-
and the reason is that it has to do with dates that they publish.
Right.
Okay.
And we have gone through this with the tax office before. And since community impact does not go to everybody and it's not
And it's a monthly.
it's a monthly, that's why these are the two they give us and they
Okay.
say, and before when there was a Hutto News,
Yeah.
we were able to publish it in Hutto News. Now it's in the Taylor paper and then whatever the paper is in Georgetown.
It's the same. We have to do the same for the school district. It's whatever your local newspaper is, and the Taylor one is basically considered our local one, since we don't have the Hutto one anymore. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Gideon, and we have a second by Commissioner Hubbard, because you did barely beat her.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Item 5. Item 6. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding 26-27 tax rate, including establishing proposed tax rate and taking a record vote, authorizing publication of notice of meeting on tax rate in local newspaper, and acknowledging and approving posting of tax rate notice and notice of meeting on tax rate to homepage of the district's website.
The question for council is, do we stipulate the actual proposed rate?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you have to adopt a specific proposed tax rate.
Okay,
Right.
And if I remember correctly, the proposed tax rate it's not what is locked in, but that is the maximum that it could be at the final decision point.
That's correct.
That is
Yes,
correct.
and for the commissioners to remember, maximum by state constitution in Texas for ESDs is 10 cents.
Correct. 10 cents, which is what it has been and can never go higher than that.
Right.
Okay.
Till they change the constitution,
Right.
not law, but the constitution.
And I only bring this up because I feel like our meetings are probably getting more interest, and so there may be some things that are things that we understand very well, just helping to educate the public.
And Commissioner Hubbard, that maximum 10 cents has to be both M&O maintenance and operations, and INS, your debt rate.
Okay,
So I'll attempt a motion, Mr. President.
okay.
I move to approve or establish the proposed tax rate, subject to our record vote of 10 cents, authorize publication of a notice of meeting on the tax rate in our local newspaper, and acknowledge and approve posting of that tax rate notice and notice of meeting on the tax rate to our homepage of the district website.
Okay. We have a motion to establish a proposed tax rate of 10 cents, which is what the tax rate has been previously. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any other discussion?
In the publication of a notice of it of meeting on the tax rate, that would be the August 27th meeting, correct?
No, of the proposed, those will go out by Williamson County. Then we also have to put on our website what you have proposed as the tax rate. What Williamson County will do is, once they get your proposed tax rate, then they will go through and they will make calculations, and they'll put the document together that says M&O rate is this, INS rate is this, and all of that's on that long publication that they put together. But then also, as it says, we have to put that same information on our website, which we do that on the very first page. When you scroll down, it's there, plus we have it under all of our transparency stuff.
I guess my question is, what is,
I think C,
IE.
I think C is what you're talking about. Notice of meeting of tax rate is the August 27th. Correct?
That's when you will adopt it,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, public hearing and then the adoption.
okay, yes, I just wanted to confirm what that
Sure.
date was, yeah.
Yep. August 27th.
And did I make my motion correctly, and did I specify the 10 cents?
You did.
Okay, just make sure.
And if I could add, Commissioner Hubbard, generally what the board has done is the public hearing would occur before the regular board meeting on that date, whatever that date is that was set up in the calendar.
2 meetings, same as like we had to do with school district. Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Okay, we have to do a record vote on this one. Commissioner Gideon,
Aye.
Commissioner Hubbard,
Aye.
Commissioner Gatesick,
Aye.
and I am also an aye. Okay? Thank you.
Commissioners, we will now get that information to county. They'll start getting it ready for the newspapers, and then we'll work with our website folks. We'll get it all taken care of.
Perfect. Thank you, Chief. Item 7, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on ESD 3 Huddle Fire Rescue Cost of Service Study.
I would like to table that.
Okay? We will table that one. Item 8, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on a report from the Carlton Law Firm on legislative items, ESD number 3, Attorney Aaron.
I don't have any additional updates for you from last time. We do expect that there will be additional legislative matters that we can bring forward to you in the coming months, likely after September, and then, of course, beginning after the beginning of the new year, as the legislature begins its process, starting in January.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Have they purchased the ingredients for the sausage?
Item 9, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on briefing statement 2602, purchase of land for fire station number 6. We are going to discuss that in executive session. And item 10, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on sales and use tax sharing agreement with City of Hutto. Also, we'll take that to executive session. So at 1:08, we will adjourn to executive session for discussion with our attorney and to also discuss the chief's evaluation. Good? Okay. It is 2:56. We are returning from executive session. And item 3, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on fire chief's evaluation. Out of that, we are directing council to prepare a draft contract that will be discussed at our August meeting. Item number 9, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on briefing statement number 2602, purchase of land for fire station number 6. Do we have a motion?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize yourself, the Office of President, to execute the real estate purchase of land consisting of 3 acres to be used for Fire Station 6.
Okay, have a motion?
I'll second.
Have a second. Any further discussion?
Only comment I would make, this is in keeping with our master facility planning and what we've been previously reporting to the public with respect to our strategic plan in support of the mission and the vision of the Emergency Services District 3 of Williamson County, Williamson County.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, and then item 10, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on sales and use tax sharing agreement with the city of Hutto. We have no action on that one. And at 2:58, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.